Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to the Kickoff Podcast. I'm Alex, joined as always by the one and only Riley. If you're new to the pod, hit that subscribe button. It's free, it's easy, and it keeps you locked in for all our football chats. Today, we're diving into Tottenham's transfer moves, specifically why making Joao Palhinha's loan permanent is a genius move for Spurs. Riley, where are you at with this?
Hey folks, Riley here, and I'm pumped for this one. Alex, I'll be honest, when Spurs signed Palhinha on loan, I raised an eyebrow. He's 30, didn't exactly light it up at Bayern, and yet here he is, quietly becoming the backbone of Tottenham's midfield. I think it's a brilliant bit of business, but I'm curious, what's got you so sold on this move?
Oh man, where do I start? Look, Spurs were a mess defensively last season under Ange Postecoglou. They conceded 65 goals, fifth worst in the Premier League. Teams were slicing through them on transitions like it was a hot knife through butter. Palhinha comes in and suddenly they've got this Portuguese wall just shutting down attacks. He's not flashy, but he's exactly what they needed. You saw the stats, right? Only Caicedo and Mitchell have made more tackles than him this season.
Yeah, that blew my mind. 25 tackles in 7 matches. And since his Fulham days, he's been a tackling machine, second only to Caicedo since 2022. But here's my thing. Is he just a stopgap? I mean, Spurs were linked with younger, more progressive midfielders like Adam Wharton or Angelo Stiller. Do you think they settled for Palhinha because he was the safe option?
That's a fair question, and I'll push back a bit. Safe doesn't mean second rate. Palhinha's not out there pinging 40-yard passes like Kimmich, but that's not his game. Spurs needed someone to sit deep, win the ball, and let players like Xavi Simons and Mohamed Kudus do their thing up top. And let's not forget, Spurs are third in the league right now, only 5 goals conceded in 7 games. That's mental compared to last season's 65.
Okay, you're preaching now. I love how you brought up the defensive numbers. I was checking out the stats, and only Arsenal have conceded fewer goals than Spurs this season. That's wild for a team that was 17th last year, flirting with relegation vibes. But here's a thought. Do you think Paulinho's impact is more about him fitting Thomas Frank's system, or is he just that good no matter where he plays?
Great question. I think it's a bit of both. At Bayern, he was a square peg in a round hole. Bayern had 68.5% possession on average, so they didn't need a destroyer like Palhinha. They needed progressors like Kimmich or Goretzka. Spurs, on the other hand, were bleeding goals on the counter. They needed someone to just stop teams. And Palhinha's like, hold my beer, I got this. His positioning is unreal. He's always in the right spot to make those crunching tackles.
Hold my beer is so Palhinha. I can just picture him sliding in, nicking the ball, and jogging off like it's nothing. But let's talk about the bigger picture. Spurs fans are buzzing about this 30 million euro option to make his move permanent. Florian Plettenberg's report over the break said Spurs are seriously considering it. Do you think that price is a steal, or are there risks with his age? He's turning 31 next summer.
30 million for a guy who's transformed your midfield, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, he's 30, but his game isn't about sprinting like a 20-year-old. It's about reading the play, being in the right place at the right time. He's like a fine wine. Age isn't slowing him down yet. Plus, he's happy. Did you see his quote? He said he's in a happy phase at Spurs, loving the Premier League again after his Fulham days. That's huge for team morale.
Totally agree on the morale point. A happy player is a productive player. And you know what's cool? Spurs fans are eating this up. I was scrolling through X the other day, and the vibe is so positive. People are saying Palhinha is the best holding midfielder since Scott Parker. That's high praise. Hey, listeners, we want to hear from you. Do you agree? Is Palhinha the real deal for Spurs, or should they be chasing a younger, flashier midfielder? Drop your thoughts in the comments or hit us up on X.
Yeah, get involved, people. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next episode. Riley, I want to pivot to something you mentioned earlier, the system. Thomas Frank's got Spurs playing this high-energy, attacking style, but they were so vulnerable last season. Palhinha's basically the glue holding it together. Without him, do you think they'd still be third?
Oof, that's tough. I'd say no. Without Palhinha, they'd still be leaking goals like last season. Remember those counter-attacking goals? Spurs gave up 8. Only Brighton had more. Palhinha's basically said, not on my watch. He's not just stopping attacks, he's giving the backline confidence. Guys like Kevin Danso and Mathis Tell, who also went permanent, are benefiting from that shield. But here's my worry. If they lock in Palhinha, does that block the path for a more creative midfielder down the line?
That's a spicy take. I get the concern. Spurs could use someone to unlock defenses with a killer pass. But I think Palhinha's role is so specific that he's not really blocking anyone. He's the foundation, like you build your house on solid ground, then you add the fancy windows. Palhinha's the ground. Plus, with Xavi Simons pulling strings, they've got some creativity already.
Okay, I like the house analogy. You're right, Palhinha's the bedrock. And I love how you brought up Simons. He's been a marquee signing, but Palhinha's the unsung hero. I read the story about how he used to dominate games at Fulham, just bullying opposition midfield. Now he's doing it at Spurs, and it's like, why didn't they sign him sooner?
Right? It's like Spurs finally woke up and realized they needed a proper number 6. Last season, they'd push forward, lose the ball, and boom, opposition's running at their goal. Palhinha's cut that out. I saw a clip from their last match where he snuffed out a counter with one tackle and the crowd went wild. That's what he brings, those little moments that shift momentum.
Ugh, I love those moments. It's not always the goals or assists that win games, it's the gritty stuff. Okay, let's wrap this up with a big question for our listeners. If you're Spurs sporting director, do you trigger that 30 million euro clause for Palhinha? Or do you hold off and chase a younger, flashier midfielder? Alex, what's your final take?
I'm all in on Palhinha. 30 million for a guy who's turned Spurs into a top 3 side? Take my money. He's not the future, but he's the now, and Spurs need that stability. Riley, you?
I'm with you. Palhinha's proven he's worth it. His age doesn't scare me. His brain's doing all the work. Listeners, let us know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to the Kickoff podcast for more football deep dives. We're out.
Catch you next time, folks. Peace.